An eagle sees 8 times sharper than you. A bloodhound smells 100,000 times better. A bat navigates in pitch black without using its eyes at all. So picture what that makes you, a creature that can't see far enough, can't smell well enough, can't even function without light. The most sensory deficient hunter to ever set foot on this planet. And yet every single one of those animals ended up in a world your ancestors built, running from traps they couldn't see, into walls they never understood, down corridors that were never escape routes at all. So how does the blindest, dullest-nosed, most sensory-limited predator on the whole planet outsmart the one thing built to detect everything, including him? It sounds impossible. The better-equipped animal survives. Except it never happened that way. For most of your bloodline's time on this earth, sharper senses were the loser's game, and your ancestors won by building a world those senses could never read. The physiologist David Carrier published his argument in 1984, and it landed like something obvious that nobody had bothered to say out loud. Something so embedded in your own skin that you carried it to the chair you are sitting in right now. The animal had fangs, fur, and 4 legs built for acceleration. Your ancestor had something buried so deep in his biology that it looked, from the outside, like a disadvantage. Bare, slow, exposed. And yet that bare, slow, exposed body turned every muscled, armored, faster-than-you creature on that plane into something it could simply outlast. Picture a wildebeest the instant it registers the threat. It doesn't hesitate. The haunches drop, the hooves bite the earth, and in 2 seconds it is moving at 80 kilometers an hour, a wall of muscle and horn vanishing into the dust, gone before your ancestor has covered 10 meters. It escaped. That is what every instinct tells you, and every instinct is correct for about 90 seconds. Because here is the thing that wildebeest cannot negotiate with. It cannot shed heat while its legs are moving. Every 4-legged animal on that plane is locked into the same biological trap. Cooling happens through the mouth, through panting, through standing still and pushing warmth out in long, open-mouthed gasps. But panting and galloping cannot happen at the same time. The chest wall that drives the legs also drives the lungs. And at full sprint, those 2 systems are chained together so tightly that one cannot run without the other going silent. So the moment that wildebeest hits top speed, its own cooling system switches off. The heat produced by those massive churning muscles has nowhere to go. It stacks. It climbs degree by degree toward the threshold where muscle tissue simply stops contracting, and the brain begins making errors it cannot correct. A wildebeest can tolerate a core temperature rise of perhaps 5 degrees before its body begins protecting itself by shutting everything down. So it has to stop. It has to stand in the open, sides heaving, dumping heat through its mouth while the slow thing on the horizon keeps appearing, keeps closing, never stopping, never needing to. Scientists have debated how consistently persistence hunting produced results. But the biology of it is not debatable. The chase is not a contest of speed. It is a contest between one creature's ability to generate heat and another creature's ability to get rid of it. Your ancestor got rid of it constantly. Millions of microscopic pores opening across bare skin, pulling heat off the body in a continuous, invisible waterfall of evaporation, running on nothing but water and the willingness to keep going. The wildebeest ran on borrowed time from the moment it first bolted. Sprint, overheat. Stop. The slow shape reappears. Sprint again, shorter this time. Stop sooner. Each cycle tightening like a rope around the animal's remaining capacity until the last sprint ends and the legs simply do not answer the signal to rise again. And the hunter walks the final distance and ends it quietly. No venom, no claws, no ambush. Just a creature engineered to keep moving long after everything faster had already been forced to stop. But the body was only half the weapon. The other half was happening inside the skull the entire time, and it was stranger than anything the animal could have prepared for. Picture the wildebeest gone, over the ridge, swallowed by distance, no trace left in the air, every visible signal dead. By any rule the animal understands, it has won. The hunter drops to one knee. In the cracked earth in front of him is a depression no deeper than a fingernail, edges slightly raised on the left side, a stone turned over, its dry face now pointing skyward, a thread of mucus on a thorn at exactly the height of a running flank. To every other creature on that plane, this is dirt. To him, it is a paragraph. He reads it without slowing down, the way you are reading this sentence, automatically, with total, Full confidence in what it means. The animal turned left here. It was already slowing. It has not passed this way before, which means it does not know what is ahead. He has never seen this particular animal since it disappeared over the rise. He does not need to. He is not tracking the animal. He is tracking the argument the animal made with the ground as it passed. And the ground kept every word. This was the first science ever practiced on Earth. No instruments, no writing, no numbers beyond what the fingers could count. Just a mind assembling fragments into a theory, predicting the location of something invisible, and then walking toward that prediction to test it. A wrong reading meant an empty camp and children going to sleep hungry. So across 10,000 generations, the minds that read correctly produced the children that survived. And those children produced yours. And then those minds stopped being satisfied with reading the world. They started editing it. Picture a valley, narrow at one end, broad at the other, with a dry riverbed running through the middle. An ordinary valley the animal has crossed 100 times, migrating the same route its parents migrated. The same route carved into its instincts before it was born. Your ancestor looked at that valley and saw something the animal could never see. He saw a machine that did not exist yet. Over the course of days, stones were moved. Low walls rose on either side of the migration path, not high enough to alarm, just high enough to guide. The channel between them felt like open ground, felt like the route the animal had always taken, because it nearly was. A kilometer in, the walls leaned closer. 2 kilometers in, they nearly touched, and where they touched, the ground opened into a pit 3 meters deep, hidden until the last stride by brush laid flat across the top. The animal that sprinted into that valley was not caught by a faster predator. It was caught by a decision made years before it was born, by people who had watched its parents move, mapped its migration, studied its panic response, and quietly rebuilt the landscape around a single certainty. It will come this way. It always comes this way. Archaeologists have now documented more than 6,000 of these structures across the deserts of the Middle East alone, some with guiding walls stretching several kilometers, so large they are only fully visible from aircraft, confirmed and documented in detail as recently as 2022. In Japan, pit trap systems cut into rock terraces date back 30,000 years, functioning slaughter floors engineered before the last ice age had finished retreating. The animal could outrun the man every single time. It could not outrun the valley. By the time it was at full speed inside that stone corridor, the outcome had already been decided by minds that were no longer hunting the animal in front of them. They were hunting every animal of that kind that would ever pass through that place, for generations they would never live to see. Your body doesn't know the valleys have been abandoned. It doesn't know the stone walls have collapsed, that no migration route has been reshaped for 10,000 years. It only knows the old blueprint, that it was built to observe, to plan, to reshape the world around it, long before the animal ever sensed the danger coming. Here's what nobody mentions when they describe early humans as nature's underdogs. They weren't outmatched because they lacked the tools. They were outmatched only by the rules of a game they had already decided not to play. The wildebeest that cooks inside its own muscles, the mind that reads the argument left in the dirt, the valley quietly converted into a killing machine. They look like 3 separate victories. They are one victory seen from 3 different distances. And here is the other thing nobody says out loud. The animal was always solving the problem directly in front of it. The next stride, the next ridge, the burning in its chest. Your ancestors were solving a problem the animal didn't even know existed yet, built from patience and observation, and the slow, quiet restructuring of the world around a single, unshakable conclusion. It will walk into what we have already built. So picture it one final time, a wildebeest at full stretch across open ground, faster than anything your kind ever was or ever needed to be. Every muscle committed to the horizon, and somewhere behind it, too distant to threaten, a single figure moving at a walk. Not urgent, not even particularly focused, just moving. The way a river moves toward the sea without hurrying, without stopping, without ever once doubting where it will end up. The animal is escaping. It has always been escaping from the next predator, the next ridge, the heat building silently inside its own chest. Your ancestors were never the thing it was escaping from. They were the destination it was always running toward, and the destination, in the end, receives everything that runs.